Alrighty, it is time to talk about the new Taika Waititi film, who is a bit of a controversial figure right now in the movie internet. New film, Next Goal Wins, a film that I had a really fun time with, but to be fair, I'm a big soccer fan. Whew. And this was a story that I wasn't actually super familiar with, as I'm not really familiar with that side of the world football, as I mostly follow South American football and European ball, specifically Champions and maybe Prem and La Liga. But other than that, I am mostly focused on South American, more specifically Brazilian Copa Libertadores and European Champions and all that. So I wasn't really familiar with World Cup qualifying in the Pan-Pacific islands. And so seeing the story of the American Samoa team and how they had a horrific loss to not even close to a football powerhouse, soccer powerhouse in Australia, really makes me think, imagine if that had gone, so it was 2001 World Cup qualifying, imagine if they had to go up against a Brazil from 2001, the record might have been like over 100 goals, because that Brazil team is godly. The only teams better than that 2001 Brazil is any Brazil team that won the World Cup, and I will die on that hill. But yeah, it's a fun little underdog soccer story. And it just had a lot of things that reminded me of Ted Lasso, but like reverse Ted Lasso, which if you've seen Ted Lasso, you know that the reverse Ted Lasso is Led Tasso, so there's the little inside joke on the thumbnail. So the story is pretty simple. American coach, I think he's American. Michael Fassbender himself is British, but I think he's playing an American. I never really bothered to really try to figure it out. I think he's American. He might be British. I don't care. But he gets exiled, and he is sent to coach the American Samoan team as a way to like repay his like debt to the American Federation. And so he goes on and tries to coach this team of just people that they could find on the street. And it's uplifting, it's inspiring, it moves a little too slowly, and there's not that usually in these types of movies there's like two games. The first game where everything goes horribly wrong, and then the game at the end where they do everything right. And this really didn't have that, so I think that's like one of the greatest issues. But to be fair, it is inspired by true events, and it's very closely tied to those events, except for like maybe some story beats, because they gotta make it a movie. But from what I saw at the end of the movie, when they were showing the true events that inspired this film, it appeared pretty similar. So the story, due to being inspired by true events, I will give a hand grenade score 2. The visuals were shockingly great, and it just gives me a feeling that this was shot on site. I didn't actually bother to look it up, but due to the fact that it didn't feel super fake and green screen, I'm gonna assume it was shot on site, and so it was pretty good. And I will give it mad credits to Taika because of that. So I'll give that a hand grenade score as well. Directing, Taika does his usual Taika style, and it works for the context of this film and the way he told this story. I really liked the idea of having that little narrator character show up at the beginning and then bookend the film, and it of course had to be played by Taika himself, as that just makes sense, as the director is telling the story both visually and verbally. And so it is a good way of show and tell for the beginning and ending of the film. So I'll give him a hand grenade score there as well. And acting, I just have to say Michael Fassbender does a really good job in this role. And he's the only one that really just like spoke to me, as there was real conflict, although at one point it just felt random and shoehorned in, but not really too big of an issue in my opinion, as it is just a fun story and it was just a good ride. And it really makes me want to pick up the football again and start playing soccer ball. and play a few matches. Expectations, experience, like I said, acting hand grenade. Expectations, experience, I don't know. I just knew it was going to be a Taika movie, and I was kind of excited for it because Taika movies are pretty funny. I really like Jojo Rabbit. I like Ragnarok. I like Love and Thunder. Unpopular opinions, I know. But yeah, this was just a good watch and a fun time. I really enjoyed this film, and kind of want to start. I have to rewatch Ted Lasso now and go play some soccer. Other than that, leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment down below if you've seen this film or you're planning on checking it out. And other than that, I'll leave you guys to it.